Thank you. Yeah, just do some operations using the CSV files in data loader. So this is what the new data I'm having, and let's get started and see. Okay. Anybody have any trick here? How to get a different emails in Excel? Okay, so I'm ready with the data. Now, before doing, we have to log in first. And there are some other options available here in file settings, view and help. Okay, help means it could be document. So view here, view CSV. Okay, start the number of rows to view 1000, open CSV, open success, open error. Okay, this is just a tool to open any CSV file, and it's a CSV file viewer in a data loader, nothing else. And then settings. This is going to be your main thing. So here there are some of the settings which will be useful while doing your data load. Okay. Hide welcome screen, nothing to do it here. Batch size. So this batch size is when you are dealing with the more records, and how quickly you want to do. And this is also based on your automations and custom code that you have in Salesforce also make the difference. Let's say you have like more logics on your object that you're going to insert, which is causing you multiple errors. So when you do it with the 200 records, it is hitting some limits in Salesforce. Then what you have to do is you have to reduce the size so that it will do with less number of records at a time. So if you make it as a something like 20, 10, 100, then what will happen? The limits are obviously like from you're changing from 200 to 100 or 50, then the limits will be reduced so that you will not having an issue. Okay, the default size is 200, and you can go up to 2000. If you make a bulk API use bulk API is enabled. Okay, now insert null values. So if you have any empty or like any of the field is blank here in this one, if you want to use a null values, you can check this box, or if you want to use a blank itself, you can use that blank. And assignment rule, so this will be used when you have like leads and cases. So when you create a lead or a case, you will have an assignment rule. That means those assignment rules, or like I have not explained it, so I will explain those. This there will be a multiple rules on your object. The objects are only lead and case, and you can create some rules. That rule will decide who will be the owner. So usually how we'll make the owner, either directly we'll give a owner ID here, or what we'll do, we have to manually change the owner ID. But if you want to automate based on some criteria, make some person as a owner of the record, then how you can do is using assignment rule, but that will be supported only for two objects called a case and a lead. No other object has that facility to decide the assignment rules. And you can have a multiple assignment rules on an object, and you can just give a priority. If priority one is there, it will take the priority one. If it is not satisfying, then it will go to priority two and three, like that. But you don't want to use that priority, and you want to use a specific assignment rule for this particular data load, then you can mention your assignment rule name over here. And this is, I think, doesn't matter. So when you have like a login to a production or a sandbox, it will ask you to give. Then you can just pick those values, or if you have any specific domain enabled. So that will also I will show how to enable domain for your Salesforce org, so that by default it will give now. Like previously, if your old org, then it used to give like a dev. So for me, the domain name is aseptech dev. So aseptech info is my domain here. Okay. So similarly, we can now like after some with recent releases, it's automatically creating a domain for you whenever you um, sign up an org. It's giving a domain name for you as well. But if some orgs which are older, like sometime back where we have not released the lightning yet, there you have to take care of enabling the domain yourself, and we can restrict the login also while having a domain. Usually what the URL we use, login.salesforce.com, right? And you can restrict that to only your URL. If you use this URL, then only you will be able to log in. If you're using a login.salesforce.com, you can restrict the users from logging into Salesforce. Okay, here not domains, my domain. Here company settings, you will be having a my domain. So the domain name is this is the one you will see, and you have a routing policies and then authentication. So here you have authentication configuration, right? Here we can change only, you can use a authentication from service iOS login file. Okay, not this one. My domain suffix if you want. So just log out here. Provision. Yep, yep. Policies. Under policies, we have prevent login from a login.salesforce.com. Then what will happen was it will only allow you to log in from this URL. If you log in from a login.force, even though if you give a right username and password also, it will not allow you. You have to use this URL, then only it will allow you to log in. So in those cases, then you have to mention your URL in your settings over here. What is your custom URL you're having? Okay, redirect to the same page within the domain. One page, these are all like policies that you can use for the URLs using the domain URLs. Okay, and thing was once you have a domain enabled, there is no change before. Here, this is the name over here. You can have, if you want to change the name here, you can try here, and then if it is available, then you can make a change to your domain. Okay, I believe we cannot change those domains names once you have enabled it. Just take a try when you're looking at this one. And now here, I'm just coming back here, reset URL to login, turn off, turn on. Okay, it will automatically reset to the login.salesforce.com, or like whatever the URL you gave. Compression, timeout. Okay, once you have logged in, so once you do any operation, you have to log in. You have to use a username and password, and then you have to log in. The timeout limit, what you can change here if you want to make it less. So once you're done, it will automatically log out from the session. Query request size. So when you're doing an export, then what is your query size? If you want to keep any limit, you can do it here. Generate status files for export. Read this file. These are all read, write, UTF-8 codes. Use European date. Okay, usually the format will be mm/dd/YYY, American style. If you want to use a European style, then you have to use the check boxes. Yellow field truncation. So like if you are not loading any data, then remaining fields also use as a blank fields that is used for this one. And you have to use any custom delimiters you have. Usually the CSV file, how it should be, it will be like comma separated, right? Once you have a comma, then it will be a new cell, and you have some other settings. And if you want to use a tab also as a delimiter, or like any other character also, then you have to mention those characters here. So I'm not using any of those. And when you have a bulk API enable, you have an option called a serial mode or parallel mode. You can enable whichever you want. When you have a serial mode, once batch is done, then only the next batch will start. When you have a parallel, that means if you not check this box, then multiple jobs can run in parallel when using a bulk API. And here is what I'm saying about a time zone. When you're using a date or daytime fields, then you have to specific about which time zone you want to take the date as. So it's America and Los Angeles. And if you want to give like Indian, then IST time zone, then you have to um, use the time zone name. Okay. You ask me anything, Vinay? So if you want to use Asia and Kolkata, Vinay, you're trying to ask something?
No, Paul, sorry.
Okay. So if you want to change here, just taking aside, if you want to change back, then we can use this one. I'm just using Asia and Kolkata time zone. Proxy host, proxy portal. So if you want to give like a different IP address, then you can use here the ports and the IP address you can use. Proxy username, proxy password. Then starting rows. Last batch finished at 0. Here's shift content. So what is the starting row you want to start the did you continue from the last location starting row? I think when you want to skip some records in your file, then you have to use this, how many records you want to skip. Otherwise, by default, it will be 0, so that every record will be loaded. If you want to skip some records, then you have to use this number. If you want to skip 10, then use a 10 so that it will skip 10 records. Okay, now I'm just so I use the bulk API. That's why the batch size automatically changed to a 2000 if you're observing that. Okay, I am not using a bulk for now, so I have very less records. Okay, done. Now let's insert some records. First thing was you have to log in. One is a auth login and one is a password authentication. The auth is nothing but normal username and password. I forgot actually what password that we are using. Okay, allow. Once you're done, you will get a next button enabled. Okay, login was successful. I'm going next. So which object? So by default, you see some less objects here. If you want to see all the objects, just check this box. Then all the hidden objects will show up here. Okay, I think mostly I will able to see here my object project, and then choose a CSV file where I'm having a desktop. So this is the file. Hope I have saved it. Then where you want to next button where you want to store the logs. Okay, initiation success. Your optional operation will contain 11 records. Okay, and do a field mapping here, whether you have existing mapping available or you want to do a fresh mapping. So I don't have a mapping yet, so just use this edit map. So do a auto map. Mostly it will try to match based on the name matchings, and if it is not same one, you have to do a drag and drop here. So here the one is not correct is a owner ID. Why? Because it will only take ID values. You cannot use a name fields like how you're using in a data import wizard. You have to use a Salesforce IDs only. No other options. You have to use the names like this. Okay, let's see how it will give a error. Okay, so looks like everything is good for me, and just before okay, as I'm doing save mappings. Okay, and desktop itself I use project mapping, and the format if you see .sdl, the format is .sdl. So how the mapping file will be stored in the format as a .sdl. Okay, then okay, then I'm going moving on, and it's asking where you need to store the logs, where you can store. That's what it's asking. So let's place somewhere over here the log files where we can store. This time um, creating one folder over here. Mm, data loader logs. Okay, then do a finish. Okay. Okay, it's saying 0 is success, 11 is a failure. You can directly view the logs here, or you can directly open, you can go to that location and you can open it. Okay, so it's saying what are all the data that you're trying to load, and along with that you will get some error message. What is error message? ID value of owner ID value of incorrect type. So these are like not a valid ID types. That's why it's not allowing. Okay, good. Let's do again without choosing the owner ID. Okay, I'm just doing again. Browse here, and this is a where it had stored the log files. Now I want to switch back to desktop and using the project, using a next 11 records, existing mapping. So this is a mapping, so it will automatically map for me. I want to remove this owner ID so that it create or it map. I will remove this owner ID mapping. Okay, and do okay. Now it got removed. Just you can review here, and if you want to change, click on a create or edit a map. Then do next. I'm keeping the same folder and do a finish. Yes. Okay, 10 successful, 1 error. What is the error? Saying project start date is a required, and saying future date when stage is a approved. Okay, so you remember like we have created some validation rules. So even it's bulk load also, the validation rule will fire. So I have given a approved as a stage. So I have to mention the start date as well. Project start date. Okay, I'm fine with the 10 records. Let's do an update, or let's do upset operation now using the same file. I will do project start date. And what should be the default date format? Default date format is month, month, date, and year. This is going to be a date format. I'm just giving some start dates over here and do a save. Now we want to do a I want to change the owner ID as a proper owner ID. I'm just refreshing. Before it is 37. You see number here. So I inserted 10 records. It has to be 47 now. Let's see. Okay, 47. And on my name, all are there. So on team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 records are there. So I want to make all these 10 owners as this user, a team as a owner. So I'm just using this user ID to you make it as a owner. So then, okay, owner ID also ready. So I'm going to do an update now. So if you have observed, I don't have a Salesforce ID, but I have an external ID called the email. So using this email, I want to change the owner and I want to give the project start date. Okay, these two changes I'm going to do now. So you see any project start date here. So most of them are blank only. So hardly 1, 2, and 3, 4. Only 4 records are having a project start date. Okay, now I have saved it and let's try a upset or update on it. We don't have any. Okay, we have one record failed before, right? So if you use upset, so see how it will behave. Upset and doing a project and choose a file, same file, and do next 11 records. And here, what is the ID you want to do? And we're doing a upset. So what are all the options we have? Email, ID, and name. So I want to use the email as a key here. Okay, then just use existing mapping. Okay, we have one more thing was project start date. I'm doing auto map, so that one also got mapped. So okay, then do next, finish, done. So they are saying 9 are success, 2 are errors. Let's see what are all the success, or sorry, what are all the errors. Error was when you have a project is rejected, you are not allowed to give a project start date. That's what it got rejected. Okay, fine. So that is also validation rule we're having. Okay, so now what are the success we see? What are the different column added? Now the status become item updated, item created. So that when it's created, which is failed before, that is when it's approved, it's failed, right? So now it become a new record. Why? Because that record is not exist. Now everything else is updated over. Now let's look at whether the data is reflected or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 having a owner as a team. Now it has to become 15 records. And the start date, now it is 4 records. And now 8 records got success, right? I think. 1, 3, 3, 6, 9 records got a success with the project start date. So 9 plus 4, 13 has to be in a start date. Okay, just refresh. Now you have a, so you have 14 only. Why? Because some records has failed, right? So I see only around 9 records got success. Only I got +9, and start date also. All this 9 records, what are all success? You can see the start date for those success records. Now I want to fix that rejected ones. So these two are rejected. So it should be blank for a rejected record. Okay, I'm just doing a save, and I want, so everything has created. Now I want to do a update. This time I will use a name field as a key. Okay, So let's do the update now. Not upset, I'm doing update now. So I'm using a project file. Next. Okay. I think everything can be automated. So save and do next. Logs here. Finish. Okay, it's not asking any IDs. Everything is failed. So update. It is only allowed to do it on a Salesforce ID. Okay, let's do upset for now, and I will show you how to do update. Project and then project. Next, 11 records. I use a name here. So only upset is giving you option to select the external ID or ID. So here, auto map fields and do okay. Move next. Finish. Yes. So one is having an error. Okay, let's see what is the error. Mm, hmm. So there are the duplicate names. So I'm using a name as an external ID, right? But when we have, even though it's external, we have not made it as a unique. So they are the duplicate records. So when it found a multiple records with the same external ID or a key data, then you will get error like this. Okay, then fine. Now I want to do update. Now go to that files, Salesforce log files, and sort with this one. Here I want to open a success file. Okay, in success file, see here, extra you see a two columns. One is a ID, other is a status. Now I don't want this status anymore. So I want the Salesforce ID to use to update the records. Okay, and everything is fine. I will save this as a different file, save as CSV file, and I will just save it as a project 2 in my desktop. Okay, done. It got saved. Now I'm using this project 2 file to do a update. So project and then browse project 2, do next, 10 records I'm having only, and choose existing mapping, or just or you can use any of those. Your direct fields only. So then next, finish. Yes. So when you're doing the update, you should have a Salesforce ID. Okay, I'm just doing a refresh. Now we're going to perform a delete. Okay, so I have opened this one. I opened recycle bin as well, so that we'll see. So I have a recycle bin. My recycle bin and org recycle bin. So I don't have any records over here. Now let's do a delete on the same operation. Okay. Okay, let's delete the project as project 2. Next, 10 records I have. So all I need to do only the ID field. So which is the ID field only. You have to really take care. Remaining fields, it doesn't matter for it. For deleting, it need only the ID field. Okay, I'm update and I just do a finish. Yes. So the action you're about to take may cause irreversible data loss of records that may exist in your recycle bin. You are sure you want to continue. Yes. Okay, successful, done. Let's look at a recycle bin. Now it's here 47, 48 I see here. Now it's 38. 10 records got deleted. And here I see 10 records here. Okay, now I want to see the difference between export and export all here. Let's do export and see what should be the difference. Okay, here I want to store in the same place. There's the admin notes, logs. I want to name it as a project export, save, no, seriously, save, next. So I'm selecting all the fields. I am not adding any conditions. Let's do a finish. Okay, so you got only 38 records you have. Okay, now I'm doing export all. Project, browse, project, export, or CSV, save, next. Selecting all records, do a finish. Yes. So we got 48 records. Let's see what will be the difference. So here, when I do a project export, so is delete flag. This is the one. So I see everything as a false only here. So if I open export all, see here I see some are true here. Okay, now I want to undelete these records. How I can do it? False. Before I make the changes, I will show you how many records there are in a recycle bin, how many are in the object. Undelete and store it in a desktop for now. Okay, fine. So here in recycle bin I have 10 records, and in object I have a 38. Okay, now let's do a update and project, browse, and desktop, and delete. I want to do next. Okay, so map, auto map, all fields. Okay, these all we cannot edit those fields, so those are not mapped, so not a worry. Next, finish. Yes. Okay, 19 has errors, view errors. Okay, so we have a validation rules, right? So okay, the entity is deleted, so we cannot undelete. Undelete is not allowing here in the update, and the other records also failing because of a validation rule. Okay, delete, upset, undelete. Okay, let's see an option to undelete. How we can do a undelete. Okay, so so far clear. I'm not seeing hard delete option. Settings. If I use a bulk API, I think I see it. Yeah, the hard delete is enabled only when you do a bulk API, and when you do this hard delete, it will not store those records in a recycle bin also. So let's try some records to do a hard delete. Not this one, not this one. Project 2. Okay, first I will remove few of them. So I'm trying to do 36 and 37 to records. I want to do a delete. Delete. Okay. Now let's do a hard delete. Wow. Whenever you change the settings, it's asking or what. Okay. So it's need extra permission when you enable a bulk. So it's asking me to allow. So once I enable, asking me for a file. So delete, open, and do a next. Done. And custom mapping, auto map. Okay. So I'm doing only 2 records. That is understand. Let's finish. So you don't. It will not stay in the recycle bin. Store in a recycle bin. Finish. Yes. When you need a bulk API hard delete, use the permission to delete permanently delete record. You need a bulk API hard delete user permission to permanently delete records. Okay, it's saying I don't have permission to do it, that operation. Let's check the permissions here. So this is a user, right? Batch one SF Tech. I'll go to administrator. Bulk API hard delete option. So whether I have a permission to do it. This is a standard profile. I cannot edit this one. So let's create a permission set. Bulk API hard delete permission I'm going to get. I don't need any session activation or license to assign. This is the permission. I'm doing edit. Save.